Elena sat on her porch, staring out at the empty street that had once been filled with laughter and chatter. The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow over the neighborhood, but all she felt was the cold ache of loneliness. It had been a year since her daughter Mira had moved away for college. The distance between them felt like an ocean, vast and UNBRID, GABOE. Myra had always been the light of Elena's life. From the moment she was born, her daughter brought joy and laughter into their home. They would spend weekends baking cookies, going on nature walks, and talking about everything under the sun. But after Myra left for college, those moments became memories, and the house felt empty without her presence. Elena tried to stay in touch through texts and video calls, but it wasn't the same. Each time they spoke, Elena felt a pang of sadness. Myra's voice was filled with excitement about her new life, new friends, and new adventures, while Elena's updates seemed dull in comparison. She wanted to share in her daughter's happiness, but the distance made her feel like an outsider. In Myra's life as the days turned into weeks, Elena's heart grew heavy with longing. She missed her daughter's smile, her laughter, and even the silly arguments they would have over small things. She wanted to reconnect, but felt unsure how to bridge the gap that had formed between them. One evening, Elena decided to take a walk, to clear her mind. The air was cool and refreshing, but her heart felt weighed down. As she walked through the familiar neighborhood, she found herself standing in front of Mira's old school. Memories flooded back their last visit, when Mira had walked these halls as a student, and Elena had dropped her off for her first day of high school. She remembered how proud she felt watching her daughter grow into a strong, independent young woman. Elena sighed, feeling the tears well up in her eyes. She pulled out her phone and hesitated for a moment. Should she call? Would Myra even want to talk? But deep down, she knew she had to try. Taking a deep breath, she dialed Myra's number. Her heart racing after a few rings. Mira answered, her voice bright and cheerful. "Mom, hey, how are you?" "Hi, sweetheart, I'm good. Just thought I'd check in," Elena replied, forcing a smile, even though Mira couldn't see her. "Things are going well. I joined a club, and I made some really great friends. We went to a concert last weekend," Myra shared, her excitement palpable. "That sounds amazing." "I'm proud of you," Elena said, but the words felt hollow. She wanted to share her own news, but nothing seemed exciting enough to compete with Myra's new life. "Mom, you should come visit. It would be so much fun," Myra suggested, her voice full of hope that the idea sparked a flicker of joy in Elena's heart. "I'd love to, sweetheart. Maybe I will." As they continued to talk, Elena felt a flicker of hope. Myra's laughter brought warmth to her heart, and for a moment the distance didn't feel so vast. But as they said their goodbyes, the emptiness returned, leaving Elena feeling even more alone than before. Determined to reconnect, Elena began to think of ways to bridge the gap. She decided to start writing letters, something personal and heartfelt that could bring them closer together. She wanted Myra to know how much she loved her, how proud she was of everything she was achieving. Over the next few weeks, Elena poured her heart into her letters. She wrote about her day-to-day life, the little things she missed, and her hopes for their future together. Each letter was filled with love and memories, and she felt a sense of relief as she sent them off, hoping they would bring a smile to Myra's face. Mira responded enthusiastically, sharing stories of her new experiences and adventures. They began to communicate more frequently, not just through texts and calls, but through letters that felt more personal and meaningful. As the weeks passed, Elena could feel the distance between them shrinking, replaced by a renewed sense of connection. One day, after receiving a particularly heartfelt letter from Mira, Elena felt a surge of courage. She decided to call her daughter and suggest a visit. "Myra, how about I come to see you next month? We can spend some time together. Maybe go to that cafe you love." "Really, Mom? That would be amazing," Mira exclaimed, her excitement evident even through the phone. "I can't wait to show you around." As the date approached, Elena's heart raced with anticipation. She planned the trip meticulously, wanting everything to be perfect. She packed a small bag filled with snacks and little gifts for Mira and set off on her journey. When she arrived at Myra's college, a wave of nostalgia washed over her. She felt like a part of her old life was returning. As she walked through the campus, she could see the joy in the students around her, but all she could think about was her daughter. Finally, she spotted Myra outside a cafe, her face lighting up as she saw her mother. "Mom!" she called, running toward Elena and wrapping her arms around her tightly. The embrace felt like home, and in that moment, Elena realized how much she had missed her daughter. They spent the day exploring the campus, laughing and reminiscing about old times. The distance that had once felt unbearable began to fade away, replaced by the warmth of their shared moments. As the sun set, they sat together on a bench, watching the colors change in the sky. "Mom, I'm so glad you came," Myra said, her voice soft. "I missed you so much." "I missed you too, Myra," Elena replied, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. "I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing." In that moment, Alani understood that no matter the distance, their bond was unbreakable. The war of separation had ended, and they had emerged stronger, filled with hope for the future. As they walked back, hand in hand, Elena felt a sense of joy she hadn't felt in a long time. She realized that even in the darkest times, love could light the way. They were together again, and that was all that mattered. Elena felt a renewed sense of joy after her visit with Mira. The time they spent together reminded her of all the moments they had shared before the distance grew between them. But as she returned home, the old feelings of loneliness crept back in. The house felt different now. It was filled with memories, but it lacked the laughter and warmth that Mira brought in the days following her visit. Elena found herself reflecting on their time together. She cherished the way they had laughed over coffee, the deep conversations they had shared about dreams and fears, and the simple pleasure of just being together. But now, with Mira back in college and Elena back in her quiet home, a familiar sadness returned. She missed her daughter more than ever. Elena decided she needed to keep the connection alive. The letters had been a great start, but she wanted to do more. She wanted to show Mira that their bond was strong, no matter the distance. She began to brainstorm ideas for how to reconnect more meaningfully. One evening, Elena sat down at her kitchen table with a notebook. She wrote down all the things she loved about Myra, the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about her passions, the way she always stood up for what was right, and how she could light up a room with her smile. Each word reminded Elena of the incredible person her daughter was becoming. Suddenly, an idea struck her. What if she created a scrapbook filled with memories and messages for Mira? It could be a collection of photos, letters, and little mementos from their life together. Each page could tell a story, reminding Mira of their special connection. Elena could fill it with love and hope, a tangible reminder that no matter where they were, they would always be connected. Elena got to work immediately. She gathered photos from their family albums, pictures of birthday celebrations, vacations, and everyday moments filled with laughter. She added little notes beside each photo, sharing what the moment meant to her and how proud she was of Myra. As she worked, Elena felt a sense of purpose. She was not just reminiscing. She was creating something that would show Mira how much she cared. She searched for small items to include, like a dried flower from the garden they used to tend together and a ticket stub from a concert they attended. Each piece added to the story of their lives, a heartfelt reminder of their bond. After several days of crafting the scrapbook, Elena felt a surge of excitement. She had poured her heart into every page, and now it was time to send it to Mira. She wrapped it carefully, adding a letter on top that expressed her feelings. In it, she wrote about how much she missed her, and how proud she was of the strong, independent woman she was becoming. When the package arrived at Myra's college, she was in class. But as soon as she got back to her dorm, she noticed the colorful box waiting for her. Her heart raced as she opened it, and the moment she saw the scrapbook, she knew it was something special. Myra flipped through the pages, her eyes wide with wonder. Each photo brought back memories, and each note filled her with warmth. She could feel her mother's love in every word, and as she reached the last page, tears of happiness filled her eyes. It was clear how much effort Elena had put into this gift. That evening, Mira called her mom. As soon as Elena answered, she heard the excitement in her daughter's voice. "Mom, I just got the scrapbook. It's incredible." "Thank you so much. I'm so glad you liked it," Elena replied, her heart swelling with joy. "I wanted you to know how much you mean to me, no matter how far apart we are." Myra shared her favorite pages, laughing about the memories and expressing her appreciation. The distance that had once felt like a chasm now seemed smaller, filled with love and shared experiences. After Myra's visit, Elena felt a renewed sense of hope. The laughter and joy they shared during that weekend lingered in her heart. But as the days passed, the quietness of her home began to settle back in. The excitement of reconnecting felt fragile, as if it could break apart at any moment. Elena wanted to keep the momentum going, but she wasn't sure how. One evening, as she sat at the kitchen table, Elena picked up her phone. She scrolled through her messages, pausing at Mira's name. She wanted to text her, but what could she say that would capture the joy of their last visit? She wanted to keep their connection strong, but words felt inadequate. Suddenly, she remembered the blog they had talked about starting. They could share their experiences and feelings, creating a space that was just for them. It would be a way to communicate beyond phone calls and texts, allowing them to express their thoughts more deeply. Inspired, she quickly typed out a message. To Myra, "Hey, how about we start that blog we talked about? I think it would be fun. We can write about anything, our days, our dreams, or even our favorite recipes. Let me know what you think." Elena hit send and felt a rush of excitement. She hoped Myra would love the idea. A few minutes later, her phone buzzed. Myra's reply came quickly. "Mom, that sounds awesome. I'd love to do it. Let's call." "It miles apart, close at heart." Elena smiled at the name. It perfectly captured their relationship. They spent the next hour brainstorming topics and ideas for their first posts. They decided they would write alternating entries, sharing their perspectives on life. As they wrote, Elena felt the distance between them shrink. They shared stories about their daily lives. Elena wrote about her garden and the flowers blooming, while Mira shared her experiences in college and the friends she was making. Each entry was filled with love and laughter, and both of them felt more connected than ever. Days turned into weeks, and their blog became a cherished project. They updated it regularly, and readers began to notice their bond. Friends and family started commenting, encouraging them, and sharing their own stories. The blog became a space of inspiration, showing others how love could overcome distance. Elena found joy in her writing and looked forward to Mira's posts. They would often discuss their entries during video calls, laughing and sharing ideas for future topics. It was as if they had created a new world where they could meet, no matter how far apart they were. One day, while writing a post about their favorite memories, Elena felt a wave of emotion. She remembered the times they spent in the kitchen, baking cookies and laughing together. She decided to write about their special recipe, hoping to encourage Mira to try making it in her own kitchen. Mira, I'm going to write about our chocolate chip cookie recipe. It's a tradition, and I can't wait for you to make them, she said during their call. Myra's eyes lit up. I can't wait. I'll send you a photo when I make them. As the weeks continued, Elena felt a sense of fulfillment. The blog was not just a project. It was a lifeline. She and Myra had created something beautiful together, and it strengthened their bond. They were no longer just mother and daughter, separated by distance. They were partners in a creative venture. However, as much as Elena enjoyed the blog, she still felt a lingering sadness. She missed the physical presence of her daughter, the hugs, the shared meals, and the comfort of simply being together. She wanted to find a way to make more memories in person. One evening, while browsing the internet, she stumbled upon a local festival happening in Myra's college town. It was a celebration of art, music, and food, and it sounded like the perfect opportunity for a visit. Elena's heart raced with excitement. She immediately texted Mira. Hey, there's a festival in your town next month. What do you think about me coming to visit? We could go together, Myra replied almost instantly. Mom, that would be amazing. I'd love to show you around and experience the festival together. Elena felt a spark of joy. They began planning the trip, discussing everything they wanted to do. The anticipation of being together again filled Elena with hope. She started counting down the days, eager to create new memories with her daughter. On the day of the festival, Elena woke up early, her heart racing with excitement. She packed her bag with care, bringing along some of their favorite snacks and a camera to capture their moments together. As she drove to Myra's college, she felt a mix of nerves and happiness. When she arrived, Mira was waiting for her outside the campus. The moment they saw each other, they ran into each other's arms. Mom, you made it! Mira exclaimed, her face glowing with joy. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Elena replied, hugging her tightly. They spent the day exploring the Eye Festival, enjoying the vibrant atmosphere filled with music, art, and delicious food. They walked around the booths, trying different treats and browsing handmade crafts. Elena felt alive, soaking in every moment with Myra by her side. As they sat on a grassy hill, watching a local band perform, Elena turned to Myra. You know, I'm so proud of you. You've grown so much, and it makes me so happy to see you thriving. Myra smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. Thank you, Mom. I couldn't have done it without your support. You've always believed in me. In that moment, Elena realized that their bond was stronger than ever. They had navigated the distance and found ways to reconnect, creating a new rhythm in their relationship. The festival was not just a day of fun. It was a celebration of their love and resilience. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the festival, Elena felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that no matter where life took them, they would always find a way to be together. Their journey was filled with hope, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they packed up to leave, Myra turned to her mother and said, Let's keep writing and sharing our adventures. I want everyone to see that distance. Doesn't have to break our bond. Elena nodded, her heart swelling with pride. Absolutely, sweetheart. Together, we can show the world what love really means. As they walked hand in hand, Elena felt a sense of joy and hope for the future. They were not just mother and daughter. They were a team united by love and creativity. And no distance could ever change that. Elena felt a warm glow in her heart after the festival with Myra. They had created new memories that would last a lifetime, and the joy of being together reaffirmed their bond. However, as she returned to her daily routine, the familiar ache of distance began to creep back in. Although she felt grateful for their time together, the longing for more moments with Mira was still there. Back home, Elena resumed her usual activities, but everything felt a little quieter. She missed the sound of Mira's laughter and the way they could talk for hours about anything and everything. The blog they had started together continued to flourish, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. She wanted to do more than just share words. She wanted to share experiences. One evening, while scrolling through her social media, Elena stumbled upon a photo that made her heart leap. It was a picture of a nearby art exhibit featuring works by local artists, including an interactive section where visitors could create their own art. The exhibit was only a short drive away, and it reminded her of the times she and Mira had spent visiting galleries together. A spark of inspiration ignited within her. Elena quickly picked up her phone and sent a message to Myra. "Hey, there's an art exhibit nearby that looks amazing. What if we plan a weekend where you come home? And we can go together? We could even make some art of our own." A few minutes later, Myra replied with enthusiasm. "Yes, Mom, that sounds like so much fun. I'd love to come home for that." Elena felt a wave of happiness wash over her. Planning this visit made her feel more connected to Myra, and she immediately began to prepare for their weekend together. She wanted everything to be perfect, so she made a list of supplies they would need for their art project: paints, canvases, and brushes. She even picked up some of their favorite snacks to enjoy during their time together. The days passed quickly, and when the weekend finally arrived, Elena stood at the door, waiting for Mira. She felt like a child on Christmas morning, excitement bubbling within her. When she heard the familiar sound of a car pulling up, she rushed outside to greet her daughter. "Myra!" Elena shouted, running into her daughter's arms. "Mom, I missed you!" Mira exclaimed, squeezing her tightly. They spent the afternoon catching up, sharing stories about their lives. As they prepared for the art exhibit, Elena felt a sense of joy and anticipation. She could see how much Myra had grown and matured since moving away, and it filled her with pride. At the exhibit, they wandered through the gallery, admiring the artwork displayed on the walls. Each piece told a story, and they found themselves discussing their favorites. Elena loved seeing Mira's perspective and how passionately she talked about the artist's choices. "I love how this piece uses color to express emotion," Myra said, pointing to a vibrant painting. "It really speaks to me." Elena smiled, proud of her daughter's insights. "You have such a good eye for art. I love hearing your thoughts." After exploring the gallery, they headed to the interactive section, where visitors could create their own art. They found a large canvas and set up their supplies. As they painted, laughter filled the air, and they worked side by side, creating a piece that was a blend of their styles. As the days turned into weeks, Elena felt a mix of joy and sadness. Her recent weekend with Myra had been a bright spot in her life, but now that she was back at home, it was hard to shake the feeling of distance. Even with their regular video calls and the blog they shared, Elena missed the little things: the spontaneous laughter, the hugs, and the sense of comfort that came from simply being together. Elena often sat at her kitchen table, looking at the colorful painting they had created together. It hung proudly on the wall, a reminder of their fun weekend, but it also served as a reminder of how far apart they were. She wanted to keep that connection strong, but she struggled to find new ways to bridge the gap. One evening, as she prepared dinner, Elena had an idea. Inspired by their art project, she decided to host a family project night over video call. She envisioned it as a fun way to create something together, even if they were in different places. She could sense that Myra would love the idea, and it might help them feel closer. After dinner, Elena sent a message to Mira. "How about we have a family project night this weekend? We can create something together over video call. It can be art, crafts, or whatever we want." Myra responded quickly, her excitement evident. That sounds amazing, Mom. I can't wait. I've been wanting to do something creative with you. The plan was set. Elena spent the next few days gathering supplies. She bought paints, canvases, craft papers, and even some fun little decorations. She wanted this night to be special. She also prepared a list of fun project ideas, hoping to spark Mira's creativity. When the weekend arrived, Elena set up her living room, arranging the supplies on the table, and making sure everything was visible for the video call. She felt a flutter of excitement, hoping that this night would bring them closer. As the clock approached their scheduled time, she took a deep breath, ready to reconnect with her daughter. When the call began, Myra's face appeared on the screen, her smile brightening the room. "Hi, Mom. I'm ready to create." "Me too. I'm so glad we're doing this," Elena replied, feeling her spirits lift. They spent the first few minutes catching up, sharing stories about their week and what they had been up to. Elena could see the sparkle in Mira's eyes as she talked about her classes and her friends. It made her heart swell with pride. "Okay, let's get started. What do you want to create tonight?" Elena asked, holding up her supplies. Mira thought for a moment, then said, "How about we make friendship bracelets? They'll be a reminder that even when we're apart, we're still connected." Elena loved the idea. "That's perfect. Let's do it." As they began making the bracelets, they chatted and laughed, enjoying the creative process. They shared stories about their favorite memories, reminiscing about their time together. With every knot and bead, Elena felt the distance begin to fade away. The simple act of creating something together reminded her of the bond they shared. "I remember when we used to make those friendship bracelets for your friends in school," Myra said, her eyes shining with nostalgia. "We had so much fun." "Yes, and we always ended up with a million colors everywhere." Elena laughed. "But it was worth it." As they worked, Elena felt inspired by Myra's enthusiasm. She realized that their connection was not just limited to physical presence. It was about the love and effort they put into maintaining their relationship, no matter the distance. After a while, they finished their bracelets. They held them up to the camera, admiring their handiwork. "These look great," Mira said, grinning widely. "Now we can wear them and think of each other." Elena's heart filled with warmth. "I love it. I'll wear mine every day." As the night continued, they moved on to making drawings and painting together. They each had a canvas ready, and they decided to paint what the word home meant. To them, they shared their thoughts as they painted, discussing how home was not just a place, but a feeling of love and safety. Elena painted a sunny garden filled with flowers, representing the happy memories they had created together. Mira painted a cozy room filled with books and art supplies, showing her passion for creativity. The canvases started to come alive with color, and the laughter continued to flow. "I can't wait to hang our paintings next to each other," Mira said, her voice full of excitement. "We'll have our own art gallery." "That sounds wonderful." "We'll call it the Mother-Daughter Gallery," Elena replied, laughing as the night came to an end. Elena felt a sense of fulfillment. They had created beautiful pieces of art, and more importantly, they had strengthened their bond. It was a reminder that distance could not diminish their love. They were still connected in ways that mattered. After saying good night, Elena reflected. On the evening, she felt grateful for the technology that allowed them to share moments like this, even from afar. She realized that she didn't always need to be physically present to create memories. Their efforts to stay connected were what truly mattered. In the following weeks, Elena and Mira continued their project nights, exploring different creative activities. They tried everything from cooking new recipes to starting a small garden, together via video call. Each session was filled with laughter and love, and Elena felt more connected to Mira than she had in a long time. One day, while planning their next project, Mira suggested, "Mom, Let's do a virtual art show. We can invite family and friends to see our work and share our stories." Elena's eyes lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. We can showcase our paintings, our bracelets, and even some of the recipes we've tried. It will be a celebration of our creativity and love." Together, they began preparing for the art show, excited to share their journey with others. They invited family members and friends, creating a fun event that would highlight their bond. As the day approached, Elena felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished. On the day of the art show, Elena set up her living room with all their artwork displayed proudly. When Myra logged on, she could see the excitement in her daughter's face. "Wow, Mom, this looks amazing." "Thanks. I can't wait to share it with everyone," Elena replied, her heart racing with anticipation. As the show began, they took turns presenting their artwork, sharing the stories behind each piece. Family and friends chimed in with compliments and encouragement, and Elena felt overwhelmed with love and support. It was a beautiful reminder that they were surrounded by people who cared for them, even from a distance. After the show, Mira said, "Mom, this was so much fun. I'm so glad we did this together." "Me too, sweetheart. It reminded me that no matter the miles between us, we can always find ways to connect," Elena said, her voice full of warmth. As they wrapped up the evening, Elena felt a wave of hope wash over her. She knew that their journey was far from over, but she also understood that together they could face anything. Their love had proven to be a powerful force, one that could overcome any challenge. In that moment, Elena realized that their bond was unbreakable. No matter how far apart they were, they had each other, and that was all that truly mattered. They would continue to create memories, share experiences, and inspire one another, no matter the distance. And as Elena looked at the painting they had created together, she felt a sense of peace. Their story was one of hope, resilience, and love, a reminder that even in the toughest times, they could always find a way back to each other. Elena felt a surge of joy after their successful virtual art show. The last few weeks had been filled with creativity, laughter, and a deepening bond with her daughter Mira. They had overcome the distance that once felt so heavy. Even so, as Elena settled back into her daily routine, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wanted to do even more to strengthen their connection. One evening, while scrolling through old family photos, Elena stumbled upon pictures of family vacations. She smiled at the memories of their time spent at the beach, hiking in the mountains, and visiting amusement parks. Each photo brought back a flood of memories filled with joy, laughter, and togetherness. She felt a longing to create new memories, like those ones that would last a lifetime. Inspired by the photos, Elena decided it was time to plan a special trip for just the two of them. She wanted to show Myra that distance could not hold them back from sharing new experiences. She began researching nearby destinations that would be fun and meaningful. After some thought, she settled on a quaint cabin in the woods, surrounded by nature. It would be a perfect place for a weekend getaway. Excited about her plan, Elena texted Mira, "Hey, how about a weekend trip together? I found a beautiful cabin in the woods where we can relax, hike, and make more memories." Mira replied almost instantly, "Mom, that sounds amazing. I would love to go. When do you want to do this?" Elena suggested a weekend in a few weeks, giving them both time to prepare. As soon as Mira agreed, Elena felt a wave of happiness. This trip would be a chance for them to bond even more, away from distractions and the busyness of everyday life. In the weeks leading up to the trip, they both worked on their plans. Elena packed their favorite snacks and games, while Mira planned the hiking routes they would take. They even talked about bringing along art supplies to capture the beauty of nature. Finally, the day of the trip arrived. Elena woke up early, filled with excitement. She made a hearty breakfast, preparing for the journey ahead. When Myra arrived, she was beaming with enthusiasm. "I can't believe we're finally doing this,"